All right, show me the money. NFL picks are here for week number 10. We are just past the halfway point of the season. Joining me today, good friend of mine. We have not had him on the podcast a little bit, but I'm glad to welcome back Jersey Joe Archino. Jersey Joe, how are you?
I'm very good, my friend. I really enjoy it anytime I'm able to come on. And this is the first time it's over. I'm seeing your face while I'm doing it. So pretty cool stuff. And thank you for having me on.
Yeah, I think the last time we talked, I think we were talking after the Chargers took Herbert. That's how long ago it was.
It is, that if that doesn't put it in perspective, I don't know what is. So it's really good to be able to do it again.
Yeah, and Jersey Joe is a big Chargers guy. Chargers are one of the more interesting teams of the season so far. And they had an interesting game against the Eagles, Joe. I mean, they struggled a little bit. Justin Herbert had a big game. The defense has some issues. What was your big takeaways from that game against the Eagles?
I think if you had to sum it up in one word, it'd probably be resiliency. I think, coming into this one, they'd lost two in a row. The one against the Patriots after their bye week was a really tough one. The Baltimore one was really not pretty. And coming into the game, Justin Herbert, I mean, what he was saying is anything you'd want out of a franchise quarterback. He said all the right things about, you just have to battle back. You have to persevere. And if anything, that was a very difficult road win against a very hostile environment. And for them to finally get themselves back on track and right the ship could have easily been another loss, and that would have been three in a row. And after all the momentum they'd built up earlier in the season, that really could have derailed things. So I thought that was really an important win, and for Justin Herbert's confidence, for the whole team to get out of that funk, it was big.
Yeah, for sure. And I think for me, the thing that's fascinating with them is that you mentioned they got that fast. So they're 4-1. People talk like, oh, they might be the best team in the AFC. They go to Baltimore, they get crushed. They go on the bye. They have not been the same since that game. Like, what do you think would happen there? Like, why do you think all of a sudden now, like, the wheels have come off just a little bit with the Chargers?
To me, if I had to put my finger on one thing, it's got to be the turnovers. In the Baltimore game, Herbert had a turnover. The Patriot game, he had two turnovers. On the season overall, he's got six turnovers. And, I think if there's anything you see, we always say it, the margin of error is so small today. I mean, look last week how Buffalo and Jacksonville play, and Jacksonville is able to just grind out that win. Week to week in this league, nobody knows what can happen. You could have the team that looks absolutely like the worst in the league, and week to week, you never know. They could go on and take down one of the big boys like the Bills. So the margin of error is so small. Every possession matters so very much. So when at the end of the day, turnovers is just killer. And, I think we see a lot of times there's always a little bit of a sophomore slump with a lot of guys. Herbert overall, I think, has played well. But, those turnovers in those two games, to me, that was the thing that really kind of was the nail in the coffin for them. So for them, again, another positive in the Eagles game was did not turn the ball over. So I think for them moving forward, you got to be so mindful of turnovers. And when I look at the Baltimore game, and then when I look at, of course, the New England loss too, that's the thing that sticks out to me the most.
Yeah, I think I also noticed in those three games that those are three teams that run the football very well. The Chargers, as people know, have the worst run defense in the NFL. They have 161 yards a game on the ground. That's a bit of a problem.
Well, it is, and I think you go back to the Cleveland game when they were home team. I mean, if it wasn't for their great offense matching Cleveland, that could have been as ugly as it got. I mean, Cleveland just ran the ball all over them, and it's just one of those things where you got to tighten that up, and it's easier said than done. But the only positive for them is when you've got Herbert, you always feel like you have a chance. But certainly that is something that they have to get improved moving forward. I mean, look at Kansas City. Kansas City coming into the year, I think everybody scratched their head at the beginning. Look at this defense. At the end of the day, you gotta. It's such an area that they've got to improve upon. So the only good thing though is Justin Herbert. If he's got the ball and he can keep it close, they've got a chance.
They do. And this week, I think their game is probably the most fascinating game of the week because I really have no idea how this could play out. There's going to go about 50 different ways I imagine with the Vikings because the Vikings are one of those teams where they go out, they have these big dramatic performances. They win close, they lose close, they have mind-blowing errors. So, like, the Chargers out, they also have the distraction now, Dalvin Cook's legal thing going on here. So, what do you think the Chargers have to do here to beat this Viking team?
I'm with you. The Vikings are a really hard team to peg. I mean, you look at them and you feel like they could have a winning record at this point. It always seems like, they seem to me to be one of the unluckiest teams in the league when it comes to finishes. It seems like at the end of games, if it's close and you're a betting man, probably you're going to win a bet if you're betting on them for things not to go right in those last final moments. The only team where they were who was unluckier than them in that regard, I think, is the Lions. Yeah. And of course, we saw that one played out a couple weeks ago. So this is a tough one because again, the Vikings are a really hard time to figure out. But I think, like you said, there's a little bit of off the field stuff coming into this one for the Vikings. That's always something, a little bit of a distraction. It could either work as a benefit to rally the team, or it could be a distraction. So either way you look at it, but I think for the Chargers, again, getting that W on the road against Philly was big. I think that kind of takes a lot of pressure off. I think if they had lost that game, this would have put so much more pressure on them being back at home. So I think it's a close one. But I think, like I said, if it's a close game, I just don't trust the Vikings. They just seem to be cursed when it comes to that. So I think in a close game, I'm going to give a little edge to the Chargers to pull it out, being the home team.
Yeah, I think the key to this game for them, obviously, is the run defense needs to be better here because Dalvin Cook will run for 150 on it. They can't stop him.
It's true. And that could be very, I mean, he's a power guy. He could run all over you. So I'm sure in the film rooms this week, they're circling on the board. That's the guy we got to keep our eye on. So, they're going to be stacking the box for him.
Yeah, there's going to be 8 guys trying to tackle 33 from Minnesota. We'll see if it works for them.
I think so.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to the picks. The reason why you're here. My friend Justin Diaz is here last week. He made a bold proclamation. He said he was going to go 3-0 and beat me on the week. He did not. He had a 1-2 week. He had the Ravens laying the 6.5 against those Vikings, and he took them. They won the game in overtime, not cover the spread. He had the Bengals laying 2.5 against the Browns. You know what happened there? The Bengals just got completely obliterated on the home field. He had the Patriots, though, as his one win, laying the 3.5, and they blew out the Panthers and gave Sandra more goes to look at.
Yeah, all three of those were very interesting ones. I think the ball, again, it kind of goes that Viking thing again. They start that game out with a big lead early, and you're like, wow, didn't see that one coming, and they can't pull it out. When it comes to the end, it's just they're just one of those teams. To me, the Lions, Vikings, and the Falcons, I don't know what it is, but they just seem doomed when it comes to finishing games. They're so unlucky, whether it's a mistake, a big play they give up. I don't know, those three teams, anytime I watch them, it's just like they can't pull it out. Something always goes wrong. So very sorry for those fan bases. It's not easy to watch.
Yeah, I had a much better week. I went 3-0.
Hey,
there it is.
Better than that. Well done.
Yeah, so last week, I actually took your team. I took the Chargers laying the 1.5 in Philly against the Eagles. I thought the line was too low, and they scared me a little bit, but they got it. I had the Giants +3. They won the game outright against the Raiders. And I had the Bears on Monday night getting 6.5 points. I figured the Steelers couldn't cover that big a spread. And if not for the referees, I might have won that outright, but I at least got the cover.
Gotcha. Hey, I think you and Justin Fields are both not too happy with the officiating from that game. So.
Oh, no. That was not good. I'm not going to waste 10 minutes ranting about the officials in that game. That was not good. So
that could be a segment of its own. Yeah,
we're not going to go there today, though. So on the year, the Challengers are 9-17-1. It's not been a good year. I'm not doing much better. I'm only 14-13 and barely got back over 500. So we're trying to get some momentum going here, get things going the right direction. How you feeling today, Joe?
I'm hoping I'm going to do pretty good, Mike. It's again, this is a very hard lead to predict week to week. Anything can happen. The margin of error is so small. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Hopefully we can get a good one.
All right, let's get this thing going here. Since you are the guest, you may go first. Where are you going with pick number 1?
All right, pick number 1, I'm going Cowboys, -9 over Atlanta. Last week, I think we all were kind of sitting there watching, shocked at how inept Dallas's offense looked. I think I do not see that happening again. I think, again, being back at home, Dak's going to be fired up. They're really going to be wanting to click on all cylinders. I see a lot of points in this game, and I think they're going to kind of get back on track with a big win here with a lot of points.
Yeah, I love that pick. I think this is one where Atlanta's walking into a firestorm. Dallas will come out angry. They're going to try and put up a big number here. And Denver's defense is a lot better than Atlanta's defense. That's a big issue that the Falcons have to deal with this week.
Yes, that's very well said.
Where are you going with pick number 2?
Pick number 2, I've got Lions +9 over the Steelers. I just watch week after week, and I keep saying one of these times it's got to be the Lions' day. They're coming off their bye week. It's a short week for Pittsburgh. I'm still not totally sold on Pittsburgh. They're tough. They fight hard, but I think the Lions are due. We saw in that Ram game, the Lions pulled out absolutely everything. I think they are so desperate for a win. They're going to throw the whole playbook out there after an extra week to rest up and prepare. So I've got the Lions getting their first win of the season and ending a lot of misery for those poor Lion fans.
That'll be a lot of fun to watch. I will say I also like the idea of fade the Steelers when they're favored because just again, they don't score a lot of points. And I get Detroit's bad. Detroit does have those games once in a while. They show up and they're playing you much tighter. We saw what happened with the Ravens, saw what happened with the Rams. I definitely see that here. I definitely see the Lions get picked. Plus, you're getting almost 10 points. So if they lose by a touchdown, you're good.
There you go. Well said. Once
All
again.
right. Pick number 3. Where are you going?
All right, the final one I've got, the Titans -3 over the Saints. A lot of people like New Orleans here, and last week I thought Tennessee, with their big game they had against the Rams, with Derrick Henry being out, I thought that one, I was like, all right, that's it, Tennessee, they're done. For them to have that huge win without Derrick Henry, that really impressed me. This is a team that just always finds a way to win. I am no longer doubting the Titans. I think they're just a tough, well-coached team, and they just have that next up mentality. No matter what happens or who doubts them, they just keep finding a ways to win. So I've learned my lesson, and I'm getting on the Titans bandwagon.
Yeah, the Titans get no respect, I feel like. And they can go out to beat everybody in the league. It was like, I'm waiting for the wheel to fall off. And I'm like, what if it doesn't fall off? So I'm not betting on Trevor Siemian to be the one to knock them off. So I like that.
I thought the same thing. The quarterback for the situation for the Saints, that's another thing that just made me even more sure of it.
All right, so you were on the board with your picks. Pick number 1, you might not be happy with me. I'm taking the Vikings getting the points out in LA against your guys, the Chargers. I think this for me, I've had a gut all week that Minnesota's going to win this game. I think this is a lot of Dalvin Cook running the ball down their throats. I think that this is a spot where the Chargers going off the big win, flying back home. All I do that they never have good home field advantage in SoFi because all the visiting fans come in. The Viking fans will be there. I think it's going to be a tight game. I'm going to take the Vikings getting the points. I could very easily be wrong on this, but I have a gut, so I'm going to go with it.
Road teams have done well in the NFL this season, and it's one of those things. Your logic is very reasonable. If they can run the ball effectively, it could be a very long day. But again, my thing on it is just I think it's a close game, and in a close game, I just don't have faith in the Vikings. So that's my reason for the Chargers at home. But this is really this is a coin flip game to me. It really is.
Yeah, I feel dumb for picking it, but I just had a gut, so I'm going to go with it. Go with
the gut. Always go with your gut.
All right, that's good. That's pick number 1. Pick number 2, I'm going to lay the big one. I'm going to lay the 10.5 points of the Colts at home against the Jaguars. And the Jaguars had their moment. They beat the Bills. They scored 9 points. That's not going to be good enough against the Indianapolis Colts. So we saw what they did to my team last week when they just ran for over 260 yards on the ground. This is going to be another blowout at home for the Colts. Carson Wentz quietly, 17 touchdowns, 3 picks. Jaguars are not going to be close in this game. The Colts win by at least 2 touchdowns. Give me the Colts laying all those points, pick 2.
I like Trevor Lawrence a lot. I was very happy to see him get win number 2 last week. But I'm with you. Carson Wentz, that San Francisco game in the rain, that was really a big performance for me. And I think from the Colts are really hitting their stride. They really seem to be clicking right now. So this is definitely a good time to be on the Colts side.
All right, so that's pick number 2. Pick number 3. This is a risky pick because it's on Monday night. I'm picking the road team. I'm taking the Rams laying the 4 against the Niners. And this is more of an anti-Niner pick here because I feel like Kyle Shanahan as a coach is vastly, vastly overrated because apart from 2019 when they went to the Super Bowl, that team does nothing. They win 5 games a year. Everyone's waiting for the Niners to break out. They hear, oh, they have injuries. Oh, they had this go wrong. And they're just not that good. And they're only laying 4 of the Rams, coming off a loss. I think it's going to be a spot where they just go out, impose their will on the Niners in the road. This could be ugly. I'm going to lay the 4 at the Rams, the last pick of the week.
I'm glad someone said it because I agree with you about Shanahan. I think he really has been very overhyped coach. And the Rams, like you said, they've bounced back. They've been a team that really, you look at the Arizona game, the 2 of them, Murray and Stafford coming into that game. It was like the battle of who's going to be the MVP. They lost that one pretty handily. They come back and they respond. So the Rams have been a team that they've got some good veteran leaders there, like Andrew Whitworth. So I think it's a team that has got some good veteran leadership. They're ready to bounce back, and I'm with you. I think that's a solid one.
All right, so to reset the picks here, Joe is going with the Dallas Cowboys laying 9 home against the Atlanta Falcons. The Detroit Lions getting 9 in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. And last but not least, I have to look it up again. I forgot your last pick there, but
I'm sorry. Titans over the Saints.
Titans laying the 3 at home against the Saints. I am going to go with my big 3 here. I'm going to go with the Rams on Monday night laying the 4 against the Niners, the Colts laying 10.5 at home against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Minnesota Vikings getting 2.5 on the road against Jersey Joe's Chargers. And those are your picks for week number 10 on the podcast. Coming up next week, Joe, my good friend Andy Martinez is going to join us to talk about his Colts next week, coming off that Jaguar game, and hopefully they don't screw me and lose that pick.
Well, if they do, you've got a good person to vent to, so that'll make for some good radio.
Yeah, at least some good radio, and it's also a good time getting him on next week because I don't know if you're following the HBL, like in-season Hard Knocks debuts next week, and the Colts are the team.
That's pretty cool. I wasn't even thinking about that, so that'll be even cooler to get his perspective on that.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that because I think it'll be fun to see what happens with the Colts. Like I'm seeing Hard Knocks in season because that's something we've never really seen before. It's like them following a team, like actually trying to make the playoffs as they're going.
It is, and they're kind of that perfect team where they're fighting and they're hit, like we've talked about. They're hitting their stride right now. Wentz is playing very, very well. So you could have gotten a lot more less interesting teams for this to follow. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, imagine they picked the Dolphins. How bad that would have been.
If the Dolphins or the Texans, that would not be good TV.
No, Miami was a team early in the year. I would have thought they might have gone there because they were coming in like, oh, they're going off a 10-win season, all the big offseason moves, all the hype. Now all of a sudden they're 2-7. The season's over.
Yeah, it's not a good time to follow them. The other team, the other Florida team, Tampa Bay, it's much better watching over there.
Yeah, and one more piece of business here. I do the knockout pick every week, but I am done.
Oh, good for you.
I lost the Cowboys last week with my pick, and they got boat raced by Denver. So I am done after 9 weeks.
Hey, you know what? That was still one. I mean, I still remember sitting on the couch watching that one, just thinking, again, that's not Denver's defense is very, very good. But especially after trading Von Miller to the Rams, they lit it up. And that's one of the reasons I'm hopeful that the Cowboys offense will be clicking on all cylinders this week and make my pick look good.
Yeah, for sure. And it's one of those things, a weird Sunday, because obviously, I'm a Jet fan. The Jets play on Thursday. So Sunday I have the Giants on. I'm doing a little thing, not focus on the football I usually am. I roll in about 3:15. I'm like, okay, I got to check my knockout pick. I see 30-0 Broncos. I'm sitting there just going, oh my God. It was so bad.
Yeah, and again, it's part of the thing that makes the league so much fun is week to week, you turn it on, and you don't know who thought that the Bills, I mean, again, road games are tough, but who could have thought that the Bills would have walked in and struggled as much as they did against Jacksonville? It's part of the thing. The closeness of the competition is just great. It's just awesome.
Yeah, as Matt Verderam, I guess in the podcast earlier said, like, how much money could you have made if you went into the week and said the Jaguars would beat the Bills without scoring an offensive touchdown or a touchdown in general? That's
well said.
Yeah.
That really is well said.
Yeah, because you think about the underdogs have been doing so well of late, because especially these big underdogs, like the Lions kept things close. The Jets upset the Bengals, the Jaguars here. It's a fun week. I think there's some interesting games this week.
There's a lot of room for some upsets over here. So we will see. But week to week, it's the league of upsets.
Here's hoping I'm wrong about my upset pick here at the Vikings.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I think it's a tough one. It really is. I really think it's a coin flip game. But the pressure's on because the Chiefs are looking like they're starting to get a little bit of life back in their legs. Denver is still there. Oakland is picking up a little bit too. So the AFC West is a very, very hard division right now.
For sure. Jersey Joe, thanks for all the time. I really appreciate it. Before I let you go, I'll be a follow social and you keep on some of the stuff you're up to.
Absolutely, my friend. So anybody wants to follow me, I am on Instagram, Jersey Joe Archino, and same thing on Twitter. Much appreciated, my friend. You do a fantastic job so consistent. I mean, for years, you've had this thing churning out on a regular basis. And I really commend you for that consistency because it's not easy to do, but you have a lot of fun with it and you do a great job. So keep up the great work.
All right. Thanks again, Joe. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, my friend.